here. At last, it is the final stunning conclusion to what has been a long series, which I'm happy to say is coming to a close because I've been doing a lot of editing. Part 7 of our set review for Zendikar Rising. So I hope you will enjoy this, and I hope you will catch us in just a day or so as we talk about our first impressions of actually having played with this set. Enjoy. Next card, like we were talking about, this card will probably see play in standard. Thundering Rebuke, 1 and a red sorcery at uncommon. Thundering Rebuke deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. This is just a pretty vanilla, fairly powerful removal effect. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Nothing to really add. Probably closer to sideboard than main deck.
I would agree. Not being able to go face is a limitation. So yeah, you board this in places where you used to bring in Lava Coil. This is kind of a Lava Coil replacement. Better in some cases, worse in some cases. A card I am pretty high on. I would love to hear your opinion. And if you could read for us, Agadeem's Awakening.
X black sorcery. On one side is a black mana source that you can give yourself a lightning bolt to receive untapped. And on the other side is return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost X or less.
I mean, isn't this card just bonkers?
Kind of. Casting cost X or less does imply that you need to hit a certain curve for this to pay. It's definitely a free-ish thing that you can put in your deck to get back Archfiend's Vessel, making that card more relevant, for sure, as 1 is usually a hard one to hit anyhow. If you get back a Lurrus, that's probably going to drive the opponent crazy, because we've all been exposed to Lurrus being reanimated and then continuing to reanimate again and again. There isn't a ton of downside to it, so all you need is a creature curve, and this is a very playable card in your deck. So I can see why you're high on it, for sure. I think it will get played. Why wouldn't it?
Like, we're so used to already these black decks running. It's like that creature suite basically stops at CMC3. And so when you have an even curve of 1s, 2s, and 3s, and you have lands that let you do this, I don't know, man. That just seems super strong to me.
So it creates this situation where you're going to have consistent board presence. Even as you're flooding out, you just put things back on the board, and you put things back on the board, and you put things back on the board, and you play this kind of obnoxiously long game as long as there is, in fact, stuff in the graveyard. Maybe Shadow's Verdict is all right after all. 2 things. I realize this sounds stupid. What if this is the card that saves the party? What if this is how you keep your full party, man?
That actually doesn't sound stupid to me. You raise a really good point that this is the kind of card that could rescue... It could rescue your party. So,
yeah.
No, I don't think that sounds stupid at all.
Yeah. When stuff is going wrong, when the Popo shows up, we're going to Agadeem's place. You know, that's the fallback. We got a plan.
Okay, imagine this, CGB. Let's say that you reanimate your burglar rat party dude.
Sure. Acquisitions expert.
Okay, so acquisitions expert and any other party member.
I'm already annoyed.
Don't you love it? Doesn't that just sound amazing?
I mean, it sounds fun for me to do it. I just know other people are going to do it to me. I'm already annoyed with it.
Oh my god, it's going to be so brutal, dude.
So nasty.
Someone's going to Agadeem's Awakening you twice with that card, and you're just going to want to flip the frickin' table.
Can I also say on the art, like, I can't look at this art without thinking of the Ghostbusters cartoon series. You know, like every time, like the whole plot of that series was every episode we go catch a ghost, but about once a season, the containment unit breaks and all the ghosts escape.
Come out.
and then we have a serious emergency. And this is the art of the card, is the containment unit breaking.
Dude, that's so funny. I was thinking about the ghost ship scene from the Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad either. That's not bad.
There are those who dwell in the mountain.
So just watch CGB's stream for endless movie quotes for the end of time playing Aghanim's Awakening. But I'm high on this card. I think it's one of the best of the cycle.
Agreed.
Okay, here's another card which I think the Rogues deck is going to be high on. Read for us Soaring Thought-Thief.
Soaring Thought-Thief, 1 blue and 1 black human rogue at uncommon, 1/3 body, has flash. Flying. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1/+0. Whenever 1 or more rogues you control attack, each opponent mills 2 cards. The Rogue Lord.
Oh, baby.
What a 2-drop.
What more could you possibly ever want in this deck?
Counter target spell, and they discard a card. All on 1 card. Easy.
Love it.
Don't ask a greedy Dimir Mage those questions.
I've learned my lesson. But seriously, like, this is a card, right?
This is one of those cards where it was like the Rogues deck is close, and now it's almost like we have to play this deck. Like it's kind of there. It's just the Anthem effect is pretty darn sweet, and it's not as hard as people think to get 8 cards into a graveyard. For those of you saying Uro, shut up and play the matchup first before you keep telling me it's impossible because Uro exists. Please, just stop. Stop telling me it's impossible until you've played it. All right. And whenever 1 or more rogues that you control attack, that you don't have to... this card has weird incentives because it has flash and flying. But you can play this pre-combat and get that trigger, or you can hold it and wait to play it at the perfect time. It's interesting.
Yeah. If you already have the 8, then you're good to go. And I love how if you don't have the 8, attacking with the rogues will help you get to the 8. So, yeah, there's a lot to like about this card. I totally agree. It's going to be really hard to play around. It's cheap enough. It's just everything enough.
As far as your rogue math, turn 1, Thieves Guild Enforcer. That's 2 cards in the graveyard. Turn 2, that's 2 more cards in the graveyard. Attack with Enforcer. That's 2 more cards in the graveyard. That's 6. Turn 3, play any rogue or attack with either rogue. That's 8. And you have a 4-2 Thieves Guild Enforcer and a 2-3 Flying Soaring Thought-Thief. And that was only 2 cards in your deck.
Yeah. And friends, Drown in the Lock can now counter your opponent's Ugin as well. Baby!
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm feeling it. This card took me from Rogue Skeptic to... I'm not going to say I'm fully endorsing it just because it might not be my style of deck, but this is the card Rogues needed, and it delivers. I mean...
He's a believer.
I couldn't leave
not
her
a trace
if I tried.
In Arjuna's mind.
Sing it with me now. Yeah. So, my thoughts are soaring, and CGB's thoughts have been soaring since 7 a.m.
You can tap it for green with a Shia.
We have arrived, folks.
Go on.
Dementia. Delirium. That's what I'm talking about. Delirium achieved.
Oh my god, this with a Delirium deck?
Wouldn't it be great?
When the Historic gets back to Shadows?
It's going to be so much fun, dude. Can't wait. I literally can't wait. I wonder is Grimflayer a rogue? Because that would just be gas.
No, maybe. No.
Nah, probably not.
Nah.
Probably not. All right, moving on. Master of Winds, 2 blue creature sphinx wizard at rare 1/4 flyer. When Master of Winds ETBs, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, you may have Master of Winds base power and toughness become 4/1 or 1/4 until end of turn. Do we need to talk about this card? Because I think it sucks.
Why does everybody think this card sucks? What's wrong with this card?
All right, make your case.
What's wrong with it? Like, tell me one thing about this card that's not good.
One thing I can come
yes,
up with.
Yes. Give me a thing. Give me a thing.
Okay, 1/4 flyer for 4 mana.
4/1. Basically a 4/4 because it's whichever you need it to be.
Conditional 4/1.
all you're asking of me is an instant or a sorcery or a wizard, dude. I spit instants and sorceries like they're like candy, man. I just walk around with those things.
Dies to Bone Crusher anytime it matters?
No, it doesn't.
So you flip the power and toughness once, and then if you want to flip it back, you need to do another one?
No, you don't. Your opponent has 2 mana and a card in their hand, and it's holding priority. Why on earth would you flip it?
Well, it just doesn't matter if you don't. It's a freaking blocker, dude.
Yeah, so you block.
I'm just...
Fervent Champion, get out of my yard.
It's really hard for me to tell how much you actually like this card. I agree.
I actually like this card.
I agree that the ETB is decent. Draw 2, discard 1 is fine. I'm just like, why are we playing a creature that... I'm off it. So you're going to need to convince me that this card is playable.
There are plenty of times where I'd rather have this than Teferi, Master of Time.
That's a hot take.
Dude, I want 2 cards. I want to be able to hit my next land drop. I want to put something in the graveyard. I'm going to get back with Elspeth Conquers Death. And I want a body on the field to jump in front of the frickin' freight train the opponent's throwing at me. And when they tap out and go Questing Beast, I play an instant and I trade. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
I don't know, man. Is Santa Claus doing all right?
Dude, none of that's weird. None of that is off the table. You need a 4-drop. At least this one has a battlefield presence and it's on a body. You can get it back. I've had way too many Elspeth Conquers Deaths that don't get anything back in the latest format. It's been very frustrating. And you can blink it with Yorion and get 2 more cards in your hand.
Okay, blinking with Yorion's the best argument you've made so far.
Everything about this is I like it better than Elite Guard Mage. That card got played a good amount. I like it better than Treese. People were hyped as hell about that card, but people hate this card.
I'm so much lower on this than I am on a Treese. Jeez, really? You think this card's better than a Treese?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Treese
God.
is a 4-mana card advantage play, but there's ways that the opponent can mind boggle you. You don't make it with full information. This you make with full information. You get the choice. And it has an aggressive ability, Menace, which you don't really want to do in a controlling or mid-ranging deck very much, whereas this thing can get in there and block.
How much did you play with a Treese?
Look at my frickin' YouTube videos. I just played Dimir Yorion with 4 Treese in it. And I'd rather have Master of Winds. No, you're not the only one. Everybody argues with me on this one, and everyone's wrong. I don't know what wrong. I don't know what's going on here.
Look, I don't think this card's flagrantly unplayable. It has an ETB, which creatures need to do these days. The ETB's pretty good, but the rest of the card just sucks to me. So that's what I'm struggling with.
I don't know why does 4 toughness suck? I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. This card, it's a beast.
Yeah, you're going to have to convince me, CGB. Convince me.
I'll just beat you into the ground with it. Easy.
I'll tell you what.
Just attack you with a 1/4.
Teferi...
Taste it.
Teferi's taking the place of Master of Winds in my deck 100% of the time. Not close.
Nah.
Ever.
Nope. Nah.
Ever.
Yeah. Dude, this feeds your Uro, too. What's the problem? I don't get it. What's the problem?
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. We found the leak. We found the leak, chat. Okay. Talk about a missed opportunity, CGB. Base Camp. Read this land for us.
Base Camp enters the battlefield tapped. I'm done.
Right?
The rest of it is color fixing for your party deck because you can tap it.
Dude, why was this card too good to come in untapped? I'm so annoyed.
I know. I had to go scream out the window. You can ask my Twitch stream.
Training Grounds came in untapped. What the actual fluff? They give us this cool mechanic, and they give us this busted land, and then they mess it up. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Killing me.
I know.
You are killing me, Smalls.
I'm past the stages of grief. Apparently you're still there. Let me know when you're done. We can go read a mythic or something.
Oh my god. Why would they do this to themselves? Yeah. Okay. All right. Everyone pour out a glass for Base Camp. Pour out a drink because I don't even know. All right, we in order to cheer ourselves up, we need to move on to a card which could actually end up being kind of gas. So, Ancient Green Warden, 4 green, creature elemental, mythic. 5/7 reach. You may play lands from your graveyard. Pay attention, that's a powerful ability. If a land ET being causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So you double up your landfall triggers, and that's just for starters. There's all kinds of other things that could happen as well. This was the central card in Brian Gottlieb's deck with his Nahiri's Lithomancing thing, and this was a card that was enabling the just, drawing, playing lands in the yard, etc., etc., etc. But I don't know, man, this card's just going to combo so well with so many other cards in the format. Are you with me on that?
Maybe, if it's really worth it to play the 6-mana 5/7 and get lands from your graveyard. You said that's a powerful ability. That has never been my experience with cards that say you may play lands from your graveyard on them. Like, I've always found that to be a very trappy ability.
Well, except in a landfall set, right?
No, just always. Just savage.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that we're going to be playing this all over the place. I mean, I agree. It's a 6-mana creature that doesn't necessarily do anything when you cast it, so that's clearly not good enough. I just think that combining landfall triggers, playing this in decks that might also want to be running the Dryad of the Elysian Grove, I don't know, man. I think this card could end up doing a lot for you without that much. Like, this card could just fit into other decks that are already going to be good with it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm 100% confident that this is a card that gets you up to nonsense. It's mythic, and it's got, like, there is absolute mania that can happen. I'm always going to question if that's what we need to be doing. And, how many 6-drops we're going to play. Is it really better than having the, make a bunch of plants and pump them up card, or are you playing it in addition to 4 of those? I really don't know. So, like, those are all things that have to be answered. You only get so much space in a deck, and while this is something fun to get up to, is it the fun thing to get up to? I don't know. There's Master of Winds. It's an option. And just saying. I don't really know if I have room for a 5/7 reach with some text when I can draw 2 cards, discard 1, I don't know.
Oh my god, we have a Sphinx fanatic over here. All right, let's talk about this card, Bane Veil. Read this for us, CGB.
1 and a blue instant creatures your opponents control get -2/-0 until end of turn. Except there's also a tapped blue source on the back.
On the back. Unplayable?
No.
No? Are you in for this card? Because I'm kind of down on it.
I'm not in for this card.
Okay.
But there's definitely something in, like, kind of a turbo fog world that's interesting, but I don't think it will be good, to be clear. I just think I think you're going to see it someplace sometime. That's all.
I put this on the list of cards that no one should ever play, ever. Limited. Play this in limited.
We should have gotten a fog. Fog that's a tap land.
We should.
Like, full-on fog. That would be hype.
We should. How much would it have costed? 3 or 4?
Oh, like 2.
2?
Yeah, why not?
Just to make fog playable?
Oh, yeah. Just get them.
That's ballsy, my friend. No, but I agree. I think that they were cowards for not doing that, and yeah, totally agree.
I know. We'll give the fog a drawback. Like, if your opponent controls a questing beast or has a bone crusher giant, this does nothing. That will make it play. That'll make it even. That
sounds like a fog to me. All right, here's a card that other people seem higher on that I am downer on. Why don't you read Null Priest of Oblivion for us?
1 and a black for a 2/1 menace lifelink vampire cleric that has kicker 3 and black for a total of 6. When Null Priest of Oblivion enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
We're getting our Sphinx back, baby.
Yeah, that's the spirit. That's what I'm talking about.
My boy. Okay, here's my problem with Null Priest. It's not an amazing card for 2 mana, and it's not an amazing card for 6 mana. So I just feel like both sides of this seem underwhelming to me.
Would you settle for good at either of those?
Okay, I think there are scenarios in which the backside of it is good, but the front side of it is so underwhelming to me, man. I don't know, 2/1 Menace Lifelink. Like, when are you that stoked to play this on turn 2? I just think it's super underrated.
You need Vampire Payoff, and we rotated our Sorin.
Yeah, oh yeah, this would have been great in that deck.
But it will be back. There is a Vampire set coming in about a year.
Oh, so maybe this will be a player.
I'm pretty sure, but, you know, this card is fine. Not great.
Do you think that black decks are actually going to run this in the 2-drop slot? Maybe if they have literally nothing else?
I mean, we talked about their 2-drop slot not being great.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a 4 of. I think I was saying that you want like 1 or 2, because when you have absolutely nothing to play, this is better than nothing on turn 2. And when you draw it late, it's probably a little better than the average top deck.
Here's one of my issues is, if this was getting back a Regisaur, I could be convinced. If this was getting back a Spawn of Mayhem, I could be convinced, because those are very, very good aggressive creatures that you're happy to play on curve. And then they're also pretty threatening when you bring them back. So...
Okay, so what are you getting?
Well, that's my problem. I'm not seeing any super compelling things to bring back with this in current standard. If you're doing Reanimator things, then that's a whole different strategy, right? So then you have to evaluate this card differently in a Reanimator deck. Playing it straight up in some kind of a creature deck, I don't know.
What about just spamming them with Rankle, or in green-black spamming them with Questing Beast?
Yeah.
It's really good with Rankle, right? Because you can sacrifice the Null Priest and make them sacrifice a creature. Yeah, it's 6 mana. You hit them with the Rankle, you sacrifice the Null Priest, they sacrifice some big creature that they were really excited about, and Rankle's doing business. It's okay.
I agree with you. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to need to see it. Like, this is a card that needs to be proved to me. This is not an auto-include in all of my black decks. I don't know. I've heard other people talking about, yeah, this card's great, it's a serviceable 2-drop, and then it does good things at 6. And the serviceable 2-drop is the problem I have. That's my issue with this. I do not think it's a serviceable 2-drop.
It is a Cleric.
Cleric is good.
Do we care about... If we care about Clericness, we kind of into this card.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And if this thing's able to reanimate your Cleric Lord who makes your deck go off, then I'm super into that.
This is also Menace with lifelink, so like it pushes your Speaker of the Heavens life total. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. The best case that I can think of for this is a Cleric Dork that your other Cleric cards make better, which in the late game buys back your most important Cleric cards from the graveyard, which are otherwise susceptible to getting killed by removal. So
he's getting it. He's getting in.
That's the best spot that I've thought.
How about Luris getting this back, but then you draw this late and you get back Luris?
Yeah, that's
chain it up, baby.
Better with Luris. Totally agree. Better with Luris. Yep.
Yeah. Good times.
All right. Maybe we'll find a home. Just want to call this card out very quickly. Kargan War Leader, Creature Human Warrior, 3/3. Other warriors you control get +1/+1. So I don't know that we really need to discuss it. It's just a Warrior Lord to keep an eye out if some kind of Boros-based Warriors deck is playable. This card, might see play.
Winota might like it.
Yeah, could be good.
Warriors, come out and play.
Okay, CGB. We have a shapeshifter. Why don't you read this card for us?
Glasspool Mimic, 2 and a blue shapeshifter rogue. Rare 0/0 creature. You may have Glasspool Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature you control, except it's a shapeshifter rogue, in addition to its other types. But wait, there's more. You can also play this as a tapped blue source.
Dude, isn't this card kind of gas?
It is kind of gas.
Yeah,
it
down.
Very much is. I think that this is going to be one of those interesting things that competes for the 25th, 26th, maybe even more land drop spot. And it actually goes in the rogue deck, which I was kind of wondering if the rogue deck would receive anything like that, because it seemed like a deck that already was setting up to compete with the decks that are doing all the landfall stuff. And it also gets this modal land that can be like part of a sweet curve. I mean, when you think about playing Thieves Guild Enforcer and then the Lord that I mentioned before, and then you play a Mimic copying that Lord.
Heck yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're already attacking for, what is that, 8?
Yep.
Yeah, that's 8. Their graveyard's at 10. Their life, like basically you emptied their bank account, you stole their firstborn. Like, we've done it, you know? There's nothing. They got nothing.
So there's a little bit of interesting play to this, because you could do something like you could copy another rogue early in the game, and then you could bounce this back to hand with Zareth San, and then rebuy something better later on. I mean, it's a fancy play, but it's just one of the many things you could be doing with Glasspool Mimic.
Yeah, you can't copy legendaries, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it doesn't have Spark doubly text, but there's a lot of non-legendaries, and one of the rogues with the ETBs, with the mill on the ETBs, they stack so good.
Yeah.
Like, that was something I noticed right away playing that deck. 2 Thieves Guild Enforcer is so much better than 1. It's kind of like having 2 Fervent Champions, like the way that they feed each other.
Yeah.
And this just means you're going to have dubs more often, which is great.
Okay, a clone for 3 mana with a land on the back just seems super strong to me.
So where else can you play it? I'm trying to think of other sweet ETBs, right? Something else to copy?
With your Sphinx.
That's not legendary.
Oh, baby.
You know?
Copy
the
a
Sphinx.
Dude.
You joke. I am down for a 3 mana. Draw 2, discard a card.
Yeah.
Oh, sign me up.
Sounds
Can't do
decent.
that with a Trees. You know?
That's true. That's a good point.
All over you. All over this.
Yeah. No, I just think if you go down the list, I think Glasspool Mimic's going to get its money in a lot of different decks. Any deck that runs a critical mass of creatures and a blue mana, I think is just in for this, dude. Why would you not be in for this?
Are you going to play this to copy like a Sprite Dragon in your Is It deck?
Sure. Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds lit.
Dude, it sounds freaking great. You know what's better than 1 Sprite Dragons? 2 Sprite Dragons. Boom. Mm-hmm. You know, haste creatures are some of the best things to copy with a card like this.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super down. I'm so down for this card. I think it's great. Oh, okay, CGB.
Mm-hmm.
CGB.
Yes, that's who I is. Okay.
Do you know what we're looking at right now?
The next Hydroid Crisis.
We are looking at a card which literally has the casting cost X green blue. OMG.
When I saw this, I'm not going to lie, like, I immediately thought, before I even read the text, I'm like, this is the thing I'm going to dump the mana from the Omnath into, isn't it? Right? That was oh my gosh, this is it.
Don't even need to read the card. I know it's busted.
Just throw it into the deck, man. Just let's go. Ashaya's got this.
All right, I'm going to let you do the honors and read us this card.
Verizal the Split Current. Mana cost of a Hydroid Crisis. Legendary creature. Serpent. 0/0. This card enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each mana spent to cast it.
Nice.
Okay.
So X+2. Sweet.
Still a Hydroid Crisis,
yep.
but a little better. Mm-hmm. All right. Whenever you cast a kicked spell, you may remove 2 +1/+1 counters from this card. If you do copy the spell, you may choose new targets for the copy.
Wow.
This isn't draw a million cards. This is a payoff for something I never really do, which is kick things.
This card sucks.
What do we copy? We can. I mean, is it there to copy the modal charm effects? Right?
Must be.
I guess.
Must be.
We've even talked about how situational those are. Is copying them any good? And you have to remove the counters. It's gross.
I have not found a single kicked spell that is just like, oh baby, I could really go for another one of those. Like, are there any? Are there any in the set?
Do you want a
Jace?
third Jace token?
Jace.
You want a third Jace token?
Dude, I mean, okay. Let's be real. Isn't it a relief that this card isn't busted? I think that's a relief.
Yes, actually it is.
You know, I love this card just for that. I would craft this card and play it in a bunch of random decks just so that Wizards feels good that they printed this card. Well done. Thanks, Wizards. Yeah, I think this card is just not it. It's the Lord for a tribe no one cared about, in my opinion.
Bye.
Later. Okay. This card, though, whether or not it's good, I'm going to enjoy playing it because I just think this card is super sweet. Myriad Construct, 4 colorless mana for an artifact creature construct. 4/4. Kick a 3. If it was kicked at ETBs with a +1/+1 counter on it for each non-basic land your opponents control, which is a weird line of text, but okay. When Myriad Construct becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it and create a number of 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature tokens equal to its power. So that's pretty gas. It's kind of a hanger-back walkery kind of a card. It exists in that paradigm.
Why did it have to say target of a spell, though? Oh.
Do you mean as opposed to like target of an ability?
ECD, dude.
Yeah, ECD embarrasses this card. That sucks.
It's so mean.
That sucks. So, can we do things like sack this to our own, target it with our own spells? Okay, here's a question. Super random idea, but let's say that you point a pump spell at this. Do you get more tokens?
No, because the trigger goes on the stack from it being targeted and sacrificed before your pump spell resolves.
Bummer, dude.
I know.
I suppose if you can buff its power in some other way.
You know, there's that Eldrazi monument. You know, sign yourself up, I guess. I don't know what to...
Yeah, baby.
That I will not meet you on this planet, but you have fun.
Could this card be good out of the board against, like, mono red or something?
Because they're going to target it and you make 4/1/1. So what if they just don't target it?
You can just block something.
So you Ember Cleave the other thing.
Yeah, you're right. It's not very good.
Sad.
Man.
Sad robot.
I kind of want this card to be good.
Me too.
Village rights?
Do your thing, man. You live your life. I'm going to live a life where this is a 4-mana kind of awkward card.
Oh, but it's
cool.
Wrecks Ugin. Taste it, Ugin.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, cool design. Cool design. We will hope to see it show up somewhere. All right, CGB. We're getting there. We're getting down to it. Read for us Shatterskull Charger.
1 red giant warrior rare. 4/3. Trample haste. Kicker is 2, and if Shatterskull Charger was kicked, it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, if Shatterskull Charger doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it, return it to its owner's hand. It's a lot of beats.
It's a lot of
3 mana 4/3 trample haste?
It's a lot of beats though. The problem is you have to pay for it again.
So back in our day, the paper boomers would have called that an advantage because it can't be swept or hit by sorcery removal. And we played a 3 mana 4/2 that had no other abilities and returned itself to the hand called Viashino something.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that card. Viashino Chion.
Viashino Boomer.
Viashino Boomermancer.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know, man. This card seems... I'm leaning towards not good enough, but that's just my hot take, though. I haven't really thought it through.
So fail state is you get in there, but it comes back to hand, so it's protected from sorcery, speed, removal, and sweepers. Mm-hmm. It's can be okay. In a battle of board presence, not okay.
Yeah.
So how would you feel if I told you that on turn 2, you could cast a creature that would put a +1/+1 counter on this at the beginning of combat and let you keep it on the field?
Oh, hold up. Let's read that last line of text again. Beginning of your end step, if it doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it, return it to its owner's hand. Okay. That's astutely noticed, though, my friend. That's
yeah, baby.
That's something.
That is so. Throwing it back. I don't remember the name of the card, but it's 1 and a white. Put a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah.
On target creature you control at the beginning of combat, so there's your Boros curve, man.
That's gas.
And not only that, it's a party curve because that was a cleric. This is a warrior.
Yeah, and this one plays with Winoto as well, which is nice.
Yep, giant warrior. Yep.
Okay, you're talking to me. You're saying sweet things to me now.
Yeah, there's something in there. It's not quite a 1/4 for 4, but it's doing things. It's doing things.
I do like a 5/4 trample haste, which I get to keep. That sounds pretty gas to me.
That's pretty insane, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's above rate in every way.
So the question is if we're okay playing it when that doesn't happen.
And I think that at least in some number, I don't think you ever want 2. Like having 2 in your hand is
it's gonna suck.
Really, that's gross. That is going to clog your hand and make your draw pretty unwieldy. So I'm guessing the number is 3 or 2. And I'm leaning more towards 2.
So here's another thing I will say is that casting this for 5 mana against a number of decks is going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
They won't be able... So if you cast this kicked, your opponent will neither be able to eliminate it or Heartless Act it. So
they will be able to eliminate it. It still has a casting cost of 3,
right.
technically.
You're right. Okay.
But
so
Heartless Act won't work.
You're right. So eliminate's a pretty good answer to this card. But the kicked side of this sounds totally fine to me. A 5/4 trample haste for 5 when you can afford to do that is totally fine. That's going to be a game ender a lot of the time. So
he's a good finisher, man. This card's not a joke. And if you played in the dash days, you know that it was often right to dash your creature instead of cast your creature, and it was right more often than you thought. So this might be getting in there as a 4/3 haste even when you have the mana to kick it.
Yeah,
I mean this card is pretty nuts. Also, you have Embercleave.
I was going to say...
You just play this for 3 and you equip an Embercleave to it.
This does enable some pretty nasty Embercleave turns, so that's pretty gas. Okay, well, You talked me into it. I'm still not sure how many of them I'm going to play, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to play any, but these are some strong cases for the card.
Make a strong case for the next card. I dare you.
I wish I could.
Come on, man. Step up.
Okay, let's play this in Historic with raised... no, what's that stupid...
Should we tell the audience what it is?
Butts Matter card?
Butts Matter? Butts Matter the deck.
Butts Matter .deck. All right.
Okay.
So this card, Sharix the Raging Isle, 2 blue, legendary creature Leviathan Crab at rare. My friends, we have the world's walliest wall that ever walled. It is an 0-17. You read that correctly. 17! The red deck will never get through this, ever. Spells your opponents cast that target Sharix the Raging Isle cost 2 more to cast, in case you needed that.
Boom!
And you can pay 3 mana as many times as you want. Sharix gets +X, -X until end of turn, where X is the number of islands you control. Okay, someone had fun designing this card. I mean, 10 out of 10 for flavor, but great. We're playing this in some mono blue deck as some kind of bizarre finisher. What a weird card. So yeah, with whatever that deck is where your creatures attack with their butts, that's where you play this card. You can't play it in standard, but I'll tell you what. This with frickin'
attack with their butts.
This with Tetsuko Umezawa, baby, nail him.
Yeah, I guess.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, I can't get away from attack with your butt. It's just... Okay.
Body slam.
I have made sure that you went over this card and tried to sell me on it for one purpose and one purpose only.
Which is?
Well, this shares a casting cost with a certain Sphinx Wizard, Master of Winds. Which are you going to play? Which is better?
Which is better? Asking the hard-hitting questions, CGB. So when I say that the Sphinx is better, you're going to lean back in your chair and be satisfied that you won the encounter? You win this time, Covert Go Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, this thing blocks a 6/6 trample haste or not trampling Haster all day long, baby. Oh, yeah. Just let that mediocrity right out through your lungs, man. This one's all you, baby. Nimble Trap Finder. Go.
1 and a blue. 2/1 human rogue. Nimble Trap Finder can't be blocked if you had another cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard enter the battlefield under your control this turn. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, creatures you control gain whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card until end of turn.
Imagine if they had taken if you control a full party and they just changed it to anything else that mattered.
If you control a rogue, it is a rogue. Got him.
Got him.
I mean...
This card was close to being interesting.
In Rogue Tribal, regardless of the presence of other things, this can be enabling of your Zerasan, but you need a lot of mana, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it one bit.
I mean, okay, the unblockable text is kind of cool, but most of your creatures are going to have evasion anyway.
I'd rather have the Ghostly Pilferer just discard a card to make it unblockable, not have to spend the mana.
Yeah.
Have your mana available for other things.
And you're already down on that card, so that tells us how much you like this card.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this card's a dud, personally. Ooh. Okay, does this do anything for us? Throne of Makindi. Rare land, tap to add a colorless. Tap 1 mana and tap it to put a charge counter on Throne of Makindi. Tap and remove a charge counter from Throne of Makindi, add 2 mana of any one color, spend this mana only to cast kicked spells. So I guess the problem with this is that we're just not that excited about our kicked spells.
I feel like I must be missing something. Like there must be something that if you kick it is so freaking like really good. But it's so hard to think of anything that you kick that is better than a slightly below rate very medium result. Like it's all medium.
I know. Where are kicker payoffs, man? I'm not seeing them. Because Jace isn't it, I tell you what.
I don't think so.
And our spell doubler isn't it either.
I don't think so.
Yeah. This just feels like a huge miss to me. Why do we not have any good kicker cards?
I don't know. I really don't. I feel like I must have missed one, and that something's a lot better than I think it is.
Same. Yeah, same. It's just hard for me to imagine this mechanic coming back into Standard and just literal whiff. It really does. It feels like literal whiff to me. Because we're not using it on our Shatter Skull Charger, I tell you what.
Probably not. I'm not spending turn 2 charging that thing.
Yeah, dude, all of our playable kicker cards do not care about Throne of Makindi. Like, yeah, Jace doesn't care about it. Shatter Skull doesn't care about it. Those are the 2 best ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're going out with a whimper here because that is the end of our spoilers for this set.
Well, do you have a favorite card or like a couple favorite cards or synergies off the top of your head that are just like, holy crap, I'm going to play that?
So, okay. I like the plant dude, the plant maker. That one is exciting to me. It just gets my juices flowing, so I like that card a lot. Let's see, other than that, it's funny because I know I'm excited about this set, but I can't off the top of the dome name the cards that I'm like really excited about. I think that the black mythic land, the Agadam's Awakening or whatever, it's not necessarily that I personally am super stoked to start building around that, but I just think that card is really powerful. So that would be a place that I would start looking. I am kind of stoked about Cleric Tribal. I'm going to say that. Like that has definitely interested me, and I kind of don't think that it's going to be playable on day 1 of the format, but I think with another like set or 2 in Standard, we could start to see some pretty cool Cleric Tribal stuff. So that's simmering on the back burner for me.
Yeah, I think the clerics, they filled out a little in a different way. I expected, like you've said a few times, sacrifice synergy, and it feels like there's a little more power there to just attack a few people than I thought, and not as much it has to be in the graveyard to be good, but it's an interesting tribe anyway. I do feel like it needs a little something else. I'm, of course, wanting to see if you can just do nonsense with Ashaya and Omnath and some of the other landfall stuff. I think that will be very fun. The mythic cycle of land/spell is really interesting to see how it just changes Magic and makes it so we're all playing a long game, not just some of the decks. Of course, Omnath will tell you some long games are more equal than others. Because Omnath, I still think Omnath is by a mile the broken card in the set.
Oh, yeah.
So
busted.
But rogues, I think the rogues are game, dude.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of curve out power there in blue and black, and I don't remember a blue-black aggressive deck I was excited for. Like Pirates was not it.
Nope. And I'll tell you what, we needed some reinforcement for the Rogues deck to be playable, and oh baby did we get some reinforcement.
Yeah, Soaring Thought-Thief is amazing.
It's really good, and a number of these other cards are really good. I think that the party payoff counterspell is super sweet. I think Zarathan is super sweet as a top end. Between all of these cards that we have to work with, we're gonna find a good shell, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. Maybe it won't be A tier, but I think it's gonna be tier enough that you can play it on the ladder without getting laughed at, and I think that's pretty sweet.
I agree.
Yep. That just seems gas. I also will say, and I didn't think this was going to happen, but overall, this set has made me interested to play Green Stompy in Standard again, and that's pretty cool. So
yeah,
Arjuna returning to his roots. Now, granted, we're still missing some of the good cheap cards, so that's kind of a problem, but it does have enough fun things going on around the mid-range. It has a nice little spare tire. Green's going to be a very spare tire color in this format. And I still think that, just like curving into your Great Henge is going to be pretty gas. So sign me up for the green. I'm kind of into that.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'm actually excited about the set. And for those curious, I did my crafting guide, which is where I give my recommendations on how many of each card I would craft if you're looking to build competitive decks for Arena. And this set was higher than Ikoria, Throne of Eldraine, and M21. M21 by far. M21, I had like 24 cards recommended by the end of that set. This one I'm recommending, I believe it was like 60 some cards to be crafted.
And I'm sure that like a lot of those are just those mythic spell lands, right?
I mean, most of those are like 1s and 2s.
Okay.
But
fair.
a lot of them are the pathways. Like the pathways make up a ton of it.
Yeah.
But it's still a very exciting set. I want to kind of use this as a way to stress that. I think there's a lot going on here, something for everyone, and I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, I think this set, I'm not going to go ahead and call it a Throne of Eldraine, but I think it's just a set that's putting a metric ton of playable cards into Standard. And I think this is one of those sets that people are going to look back on and be like, dang, there was a lot going on in that set, and it was really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
If there is a set that you don't want to miss on Arena, it's this one. I'm going to compare it to Eldraine, because I think Eldraine is the set where when new people are joining Arena right now and they're like, what do I need to invest in? It's Eldraine, because the set was just so powerful. The rares were so good. The mythics were so good. Everything about it was just essential. And I kind of feel the same way about this set. I just think that there are going to be so many essential cards that you just cannot get away with not playing in Standard. So yeah, invest in this set. It will pay off. All right, well, that's an excellent place for us to end this episode. Thank you so much, CGB, and you, the listener, for slogging with us through all of those cards. I genuinely enjoyed reviewing this set, and I don't know, man. We're going to have a lot to brew with, I think.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. I'm going to have a lot of Ashaya Sphinx decks to talk about.
Excellent.
It's not over. The meme continues until you end this show.
The meme lives on. Well, it's a meme I can get behind. So you can find us in all of the places you can find podcasts: Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify. We're on YouTube. YouTube channel is great. Excellent comments on the videos, so go there if you want to kind of chat with the community. I've also been posting ICRs and in-game rewards and stuff in our YouTube community, so if you're looking to pick up some free wild cards, go and check there, because that's where I've been posting them. You can find Covert Go Blue on his YouTube channel, where he releases a video every single day, bar none. You can also find him on his Twitch channel, Covert Go Blue, and he streams Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, coworker Blue, take it easy, my man, and I will catch you soon.
Later.